Good afternoon, God bless you, and this is me again, your man, Ref Felix. And today we are gonna be talking about growing your mind, part 5. Growing your mind, part 5. And these are the things that we are gonna be talking about today. Please get your pen and paper and write it down. And please do share this message and save as well for every day today recapping. Yes, the first one we're going to be talking about today is forgiveness. Forgiveness. For you to be able to grow your mind, positively and mentally, you will need to know how to forgive others when they're wrong you. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be a believer or a Christian rather for you to know how to forgive people. You know what I mean? Yes, you can be in any religion, but then you don't know how to forgive, then it becomes a burden for you. It's like you actually carrying a stone, that is bigger than yourself, in your heart, and it is so heavy. Most of you that have been in that situation before, I tell the truth, you can attest to that. Like today, I was watching, a documentary, of a young man that killed someone's son, and the father, is a Muslim man, and he actually came out rather than busting into anger. Yes, I know. I mean, if I asked myself if I was the one, are you sure I would have been able, to do what that man did, in that courtroom? But rather, he said to the young man, I do not blame you, but I blame the devil that uses you to do what you did. And I tell the truth, this young man broke into tears and he started crying in that courtroom, and he even asked the judge if he could give that father a hug, and the father said yes. I mean, the father of the young man that he killed said yes, of course you can approach the bench. He hugged him, so hard, and in fact they broke into tears, both of them. So that's the power of forgiveness. That is the power of forgiveness. I remember what happened between my uncles, and us, when we were little, and as we grew up, they were in need, I, as a human being, my mother approached me and said, you need to support these people. And I said to her, these people took away everything from us, and you want me to support them. She said, son, do not carry the weight of somebody else's problem on your shoulder or in your heart. She said, listen to me, son, you need to forgive. You don't behave like them. You don't behave like them. You need to forgive them and let it go. In fact, I felt it in my heart that today, that and from that day, I began to regenerate my mind, so mentally. So you need to forgive people and let it go from your heart. It is better that you forgive them and avoid them than you not forgiving them and still you want to be in their corner or in their midst. Some people do that. They say, well, I can be among them. That's why you find some people, they can still come together, but yet not talking to one another. So they are not in forgiveness. Even in churches, you find people in churches, but they are not talking to one another, and because they have not forgiven one another. They can be in the same space, but not greeting one another, not forgiving one another. They say, well, we can stay in the same space, but I don't want to forgive her. I do not want to talk to her. So it is better to forgive and avoid them. When I talk about avoidance, I'm talking about confrontation. Okay, I'm talking about confrontation. You do not want to be in the same space of confrontation again with such people, but just forgive them and let it go. And the second one I'm going to be talking about today is give room for others. Learn to accommodate other people. Learn to accommodate other people's excesses. If you don't know how to accommodate other people's excesses, there is no way your mind can grow. There is no way your mind can grow. You see, the mind is like a balloon, okay? The mind is like a balloon, very little, but it's big. So the more air you pump into it, the more it inflates. The more air you pump into it, the more air it absorbs. So that is how your mind is. So if you don't learn how to accommodate other people's excesses, I tell you the truth, it will be very difficult for you to navigate even in your business place, in marketplace, and in your work, and even socializing with people. It become very difficult for you. I'm not saying people should go about socializing people anyhow. Of course, you need to guide your heart. The Bible says, above all else, guide your heart. So you need to guide it. But in the same manner as well, you need to develop your mind. For you to develop your mind, you also need to know how to accommodate other people's excesses. Try as much as possible to give room for others to explain themselves. Try as much as possible to give room for others to explain themselves, because it is in the explanation you will be able to give your verdict more intelligently. In the explanation, you'll be able to give your verdict more intelligently. No judge gives a verdict without hearing from each party. From each party, no judge do that. Any judge that gives a verdict without hearing from each party, that judge is a corrupt judge. Yes, I know there are many judges like that today. Corrupt judge, because why? They've collected bribe, from one of the parties, so they do not want to hear what this other party has got to say. So they just pass the verdict. Many judges have condemned an innocent people because why? They are corrupt judge, because they did not want to hear from this other party. Because why? They have collected bribe and they decided to condemn this person to either to death or to life imprisonment because of lack of hearing. They don't want, and that is why in every company, they have human resources, and what those human resources do, they deal with issues. They deal with issues internally. So if someone is got, a problem, what they do is that they don't fire the person immediately. They take the matter to what? To hearing. Let's say you have been called into what? Into hearing. All right. Now, the first thing that they do first, I believe they give you what? A letter. So once they serve you a letter of warning, then if you do it again, then they call you into your office for hearing. Now, the purpose of the hearing is that so that you can come and explain, why are you behaving like this? Or what is the circumstances behind your behavior? So that way they'll be able to give solution. Is either to retain you or to let you go by another mistake that you will make. So learn how to give other people the space to explain themselves. Learn to give other people the space to explain themselves. Okay, accommodate people, excesses, and forgive people, and then learn how to allow other people to explain themselves. In that way, you will be able to develop your mind more intelligently, more intelligently, and do not allow people talk you into things that you do not want to do. That's the last thing. Do not allow people talk you into doing things that you do not want to do. A lot of people today, they are like the ocean that takes every death. Okay, now you sit down there, people are talking, and then boom, what people are saying gets into you. Remember, human beings are wired by three things. One, the things that you hear. Two, the things that you see, and three, the things that you smell. Okay, yes, the things that you smell. So that thing got into the brain of people. Some of you are wired, weakly. You wired weakly. A house that is wired weakly gets burned by fire. Some of you, the advices that people give to you get into you. So please protect yourself. God bless you. Shalom.